Mr. Speaker, we are all familiar with the famous line from Thomas Jefferson: "The government closest to the people serves people the best." So how is it that we're here today considering a bill that has been opposed by every member of the Alaskan delegation since 1980? Not just the Alaskan delegation, but every governor of Alaska since 1980, and even the gubernatorial candidates last year, 2 Republicans, an independent, and a Democrat, opposed this bill. Mr. Speaker, the House is not in order.
The gentleman is correct. Please suspend your conversations. The gentleman will suspend. You may continue.
This week, many of my friends across the aisle sought to protect their coastlines by banning offshore energy development. They know what's best in their states. Apparently, this same standard of local control does not apply to Mr. Young, who is the only person in this body elected by the residents of Alaska. Not only is this bill opposed by the entire Alaskan delegation, it's opposed by the local Alaskan Native population and written without their consultation. As a member who represents Bears Ears, I hear from my colleagues all the time how important it is to have Native American consultation, and they're right. However, with local Alaskan Native opposition to this bill and no consultation, there seems to be a double standard. In fact, just 3 days ago, I sat in a hearing where BLM was criticized for not working with the Native population. They held 11 hearings, 7 listening sessions, apparently not enough. So unless I missed 18 trips of my colleagues to Alaska, we're working with a double standard. Those of you, the House is not in order, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman will suspend. I would ask everybody please to cease conversation or return to the cloakroom. Please continue.
Thank you. Those of you from states with very little federal ownership have a difficult time what it's like being from a state or county with 90% federal ownership. Imagine being a local elected official, maintaining roads, police, fires, sewers, parks, when only 10% of your property generates property tax. At the end of the day, Mr. Young and the Native Alaskans, not the rest of us, should be determining the fate of Alaska. I've heard the argument, Mr. Speaker.
You may resume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've heard the argument that this development will contribute to climate change. Really? I'm listening. This is one Republican that believes the climate is changing and his man is influencing it. But I'm baffled. Why so many of you will give a pass to a human rights violating dictator in China and deny the local Native Alaskans the right to have a living off the land. If we were serious about climate change, I've got an idea for you. Let's take all of the natural gas we're putting back into the ground in ANWR, send it to China and India, and we would do more to reduce global carbon emission than by implementing the entire Green New Deal. I hear the term science denier tossed around, but I ask you, who is denying science the most? Those who ignore 85% of carbon coming from outside the United States, or those who think that impacting 0.01% of ANWR will destroy the Alaskan environment? Let's put this in perspective. ANWR is less than 5% of Alaska. This project is less than 0.01% of ANWR. To give you a perspective, that's like taking a janitorial closet in the Capitol of 175 feet and putting HVAC in it to keep us warm and cool. That is the perspective. When the other side is ready to fight climate change, Republicans stand ready. This is not one of those times. To start, my friend Greg Walden and his colleagues in Energy and Commerce seem to have the ability to generate a bill almost daily that would truly impact the true problems with climate change.
Gentleman will suspend. The House will come to order.
Thank you, Mr.
Gentleman may
Speaker.
resume.
This motion to recommit will prevent the bill from taking effect until the President certifies that will not result in a net increase of Russian oil and gas imports into the United States. The answer to climate change is not making the U.S. more reliant on fossil fuels. A vote for this MTR is a vote to support local Alaskan natives. I repeat, the answer to climate change is not making the U.S. more reliant on foreign fossil fuels. Last time I checked, Ryan Zinke was the only one riding a horse. Ryan Zinke was the only one riding a horse. I urge support of the motion to recommit. I yield back the balance of my time.